The defining rivalry of the last decade in the USL Championship gets its newest installment this evening as the Tampa Bay Rowdies welcome Louisville City FC to Al Lang Stadium. It is Gasparilla night as well, so you'll see plenty of interesting things in the stands, and we have plenty of interesting fun to offer you on the field with a quick look at the Brinks Tires performance standings. Two of the best teams in the East. Tampa Bay pacing everybody. Louisville City trying to claw their way up to the top. Happy to have you with us on ESPN alongside ex-MLS pro Ricky Lopez-Espin. I'm Joe Malfa. Ricky, these two teams, they meet often because of how good they are, whether it's regular season or postseason, and it never disappoints.
We have two of the biggest clubs, not only in the league, but in U.S. soccer as a whole, because how dominant they've been in USL Championship. 6 out of the last 9 Eastern Conference titles have gone either to Louisville City or this Tampa Bay Rowdies side. These two clubs expect to challenge for trophies at the end of the season, so we should expect an intriguing and a really competitive match over the course of 90 minutes here tonight.
Whether it's on the macro level or the micro level, these two teams synonymous with success and attached at the hip statistically. Tampa Bay, over this last decade, a player shield and 2 Eastern Conference titles to their name. Louisville City, a little bit more, 2 titles, 2 player shields, and 4 conference titles. Zooming in a bit on the matchup itself, this is the 20th meeting all time. It's 9 Louisville wins to 8 Tampa wins and 2 draws, and every single game just about has been close. 17 of the 19 decided by 1 goal. And Ricky, a big reason why the stars that make this game what it is, Kevin Lambert leads the way for Lou City.
Kevin Lambert has been a fantastic addition to the back line for Louisville City. Yes, he has the ability to win his 1v1 duels, and he's really strong, but notice how clean he is with the ball at his feet, the ability to pop into that middle third, and as he drops a little bit deeper, top side of your screen, Jake Morris, his ability to stay high and stay wide, but also the ability for Kevin Lambert to drop a little bit deeper. Now look at the bottom of your screen. Sean Tosh, same positioning, high and wide. That also allows players more centrally to combine and break through teams. Look who gets on the end of this, Jake Morris, all because Kevin Lambert's a little bit deeper. He gets on the end. Now talking about his positioning, flawless to cut out this pass, but notice his composure. Takes out 3 of the opposition with 1 simple pass, and now Lou City turns their defense into offense. Little things like that is what make Kevin Lambert so valuable for this Louisville City side.
And he'll need to be on tonight defensively because Marco Micheletto leads a very dangerous Tampa Bay attack.
Marco Micheletto is just so influential for the Tampa Bay Rowdies because he can do a little bit of everything. Off the ball, he covers a lot of ground. He's really good in his 1v1 duels, and all on the ball, he can score goals. He can find that final ball. Look for him to put a lot of pressure on Louisville City's back line if Tampa Bay Rowdies want to keep all the points here at Al Lang.
We caught up with Marco pregame about how his versatility and this team's versatility breeds excellence in Tampa Bay.
I mean, I think you said it best, and I think it's the willingness, not just for myself, but I think anybody in this team to put maybe aside any individual goal and understand whatever is needed for the team and doing that. You've got a bunch of players like myself that get that message, and you know, we kill each other from Monday through Friday to make the 11 on a Saturday, and then when you're out there on a Saturday, you once again you're doing the same thing, doing whatever needs to be done to get Tampa's on top.
Marco, this Louisville City side is a team that wants to press you, that want to make you uncomfortable. So what is the most important thing that you guys need to do well to keep all 3 points here in Tampa?
Yeah, I mean, Louisville and Tampa, 2 of the biggest clubs in the league, 2 of the best teams in the league. They're always a tough matchup, but I can't tell you a team in the league that's not a tough matchup anymore. We're just going to do our thing. We're going to play our game. You've seen us all year. We want to dominate both sides of the ball. So as much as they want to press, we'll be right back in their faces. And then when we have the ball, hopefully do the things that have made us successful all year. Help each other off the ball and take care of it. And yeah.
Marco Micheletto and the Rowdies won it 2-0 on the road in Louisville at the end of May. The boys in purple looking to get their lick back tonight. It's Louisville City and the Tampa Bay Rowdies. It's the USL on ESPN. We're ready to get things going at Al Lang Stadium. It is halfway to Gatsby Night, the last Saturday in January every year, the Gasparilla Festival in Tampa and the surrounding areas. These fans are into it tonight. We'll see what that breeds in the crowd. We'll see how things look on the field with the Best Western starting lineups beginning with the home side.
For Dominic Casciato, it's all about that central location. Schneider and Cruz need to do a really good job at playing through the thirds and understanding when they do drop, they're going to invite some pressure of Louisville City. So the positioning of Nicoletto in between lines, if he can get the ball in the half turn and facing forward, that allows that front three to be really aggressive. MD Myers, he's going to stay high and he's going to want to get on the end of service.
On the other side for Louisville City, it's a group that is shifted a little bit. Lambert again starting at the back of that back three.
Understanding that when he plays a little bit more aggressive, that allows Dia and Tosha push out wide. Aiden McFadden and Jake Morris, we talked about them in the open. They're going to push extremely high and wide to provide the width, and that will allow Jansen Wilson and Akale to play a little bit more centrally to combine underneath Chris Donovan. He needs to have a good game and supply some options for Louisville City if they want to put pressure on Tampa's back line.
When these teams met at the end of May, it was a very tight, intense game for 75 minutes. Tampa Bay scored their 2 goals in the last 15 minutes to take it on the road. How will this one look tonight? Elton Garcia, the referee, with whistle in mouth to send us on our way. It's Lou City in the purple left to right. It's Tampa Bay in the white with their yellow and green trim from right to left. And away we go in what has been the rivalry of the last decade in the USL Championship. Glad to have you with us this evening on ESPN. With Ricky Lopez-Espin, I'm Joe Malfa. Crowd still filing in. Thunderstorms came through pregame. Slowly but surely, they've been finding their seats, and the noise has been rising. Louisville City played midweek against Birmingham. They won it 2-1. You wonder if there'll be any lingering effects of that. They had to travel a couple of days later, playing on short rest, while Tampa Bay had the whole week off. Although Tampa Bay had their energy levels depleted for another reason. They played the last 45 minutes last Saturday, down a man on the road in the heat and humidity in Miami. Against Miami FC, though, they persevered, down a man, and scored to win it 3-2. So you wonder what the first 15 minutes looked like today.
Dominic Casciato in our conversation was really happy that this team went down to Miami and faced that type of adversity. Obviously, the atmosphere is very different at Pitbull Stadium versus here at Al Lang. Understanding that you need to make your own energy there. So a team that has dealt with some ups and downs throughout the course of 2026. An opportunity here to continue to grow.
Already a little bit of a deviation from what we expected in the setup for Tampa Bay. You wonder if it's matchup based or if it's something that can change on the fly. Charlie Ostrom on the right side, Gennaro Nigro on the left side in this defensive setup. It's Nigro's first start for Tampa Bay. Injuries have cost him most of this year. He's coming off the bench the last 2 games, but as they go forward this year, he's somebody who figures to be a starter. He spent the last couple of years as a regular starter with Las Vegas Lights, 7 assists in 28 games last season. Creative piece off the back line. Tosh delivering here, skimmed along, and cleared upfield by Luis Perez. Jake Morris, fronted by Nigro. Take a look at tonight's injury report brought to you by Tiger Bomb. At this stage of the season, for it to be this thin, good for both these teams, and they hope it stays that way. Nothing officially reported for Louisville City, and just Schaefer officially out injured for Tampa Bay. Isaiah LaFleur suspended, so missing him as well. The only injury, Schaefer. Well, that's saying something for a team that early on dealt with a lot of injuries, Tampa Bay. When they were on their lengthy unbeaten run to begin this season, they were doing that without Giannis Learman, without Gennaro Nigro, without a couple of others that are instrumental to their success. Scary to think that a team that is coming into tonight leading the race for the Players' Shield with 10 wins, 2 losses, and 5 draws can only get better in the second half.
You and I had the ability to speak with a lot of our colleagues over the course of this season, and especially the offseason. And obviously, a lot of new faces, and notice the pressure right now for Louisville City. Relentless, that's exactly what Simon Bird wants. He wants to make this back line of Tampa Bay Rowdies just feel them. So understanding when to play through the pressure, when to play around it, but also when to be a little bit more direct into MD Myers is going to be really influential for this Rowdies back line.
MD Myers leads the way with 6 goals for Tampa Bay. Very widespread scoring for the Rowdies, and Tom Casciano prefers it that way. Sure, it'd be nice to have somebody who goes on and bags 20 goals, and MD Myers certainly capable of doing that and getting hot as this season goes, but he's quick to point out, if a player goes down, you don't want your team to be bereft of any scoring talent. So the team that scored the second most goals in the league, or tied for it rather, they don't have a single man they rely on. The team that Tampa Bay are tied with, by the way, Louisville City. So both these teams tonight, plenty of firepower in the attack. 28 goals each through 17 games each this season. Lambert looking long.
Nice pocket of space there from Cruz. That's exactly where you want someone to operate in between the lines of this Louisville City side, because a lot of times, yes, they're aggressive, but that back line sometimes a little bit slow to stay connected with the Davila brothers that are sitting centrally for Simon Bird.
Nigro delivering early. McFadden heading it clear, and it's out for an early corner. Set-piece defending has been an issue for Louisville City this season, though it's something that Simon Bird feels they've cleaned up as of late.
And it's a really good ball in from Nigro from his right back position. Bounces right on top of that 6-yard box. Thankfully for Farouk, MD Myers just stops his run. And expect quality when this man is over the ball. Marco Micheletto can whip in the ball with the best of them here in USL Championship.
Note, as you mentioned, Hugo Farouk in goal for Lou City. Danny Fondez had been the starter for a really long stretch of time. Hugo Farouk seemed to have lost that job the last couple of weeks, though, in training. Farouk won the job back, started midweek against Birmingham, made a couple of big saves, and starts again tonight. Micheletto from the corner, back post. Tosh rises to meet it. Nigro volleys it back through the traffic. Micheletto wasn't sure if he was onside, so he takes himself out of the play, and it'll be a Tampa Bay throw. It was a stray from the norm the last time these teams met. A 2-goal win for Tampa Bay at the end of May. It was only the second time in the history of this rivalry that a game was decided by more than 1 goal. And that was a bit of a misnomer. That second goal came in 90+4. Farouk punches clear, not clear enough. Micheletto was lurking. Cicerone across, and the volley was sent skied. Dominic Casciano, in his first full season in charge of the Tampa Bay Rowdies, took over last July, a little over a year ago now, after he was back-to-back Coach of the Year in USL League One. Very pleased, of course, with what his team has done this year, but eyes on something bigger, which stood out in our conversation. He said, just because you were chasing and now you're not chasing anymore doesn't mean you let up. It doesn't mean you've reached the summit and can be content with yourself. They weren't necessarily coming into the season expected to be pacing the league in the way that they are, but their mindset has shifted to bigger things now.
And it's interesting, you asked him the biggest growth over the course of 26 and what you can need to do to continue to push up the table and stay at the top. And it wasn't about X and O's, it wasn't about tactics, it was about mindset for Dominic Casciano. And it just tells you about the type of manager that he is, thinks throughout the game massively. And he's been a wonderful leader for this Rowdy side, picking and choosing the players that he wants to implement into his system. They've done a phenomenal job thus far.
Problem is, I don't know how long he's going to be around these parts. It feels like he has a lot of upward trajectory in his career. Back-to-back USL League One Coach of the Year. He's on his way to winning that award, I would think, this season in the championship. Akale drives one in. No trouble whatsoever for Jamali Waite. Player down for the Rowdies in the box is Perez, but he gets back to his feet. Gennaro Nigro, excuse me. Referee had asked if the trainer needed to come out, but he's right back at it and right back on the ball.
It's an interesting decision, Joe, from Louisville City there. We talked about Kevin Lambert coming in, giving you an aerial presence, electing to go short. Good run here.
Cruz. Andy Myers hesitated still. Myers not on the same page as Micheletto. Akale gave it back. He's put in an awkward position by Tosh, to be fair, but Akale now battles out of it. So quick with the ball. Never quite made sense early season why he didn't find his way into his starting role, but he has found that role, and it has been something that has changed things for Lou City over the last few games.
Akale's given Louisville City that unpredictability factor. He didn't just a glimpse of the ability to run by his individual marker, but he wants to combine with his teammates, and we see Louisville City over the course of the year wanting to play, especially in the width, put balls in, make teams really uncomfortable. Now you give him a presence next to Davila, who will be the player that pulls the strings. He's been a wonderful signing for Louisville City in terms of changing things up, how they attack.
So far, so similar to how things went at the end of May. There's a lot of this, a lot of Tampa Bay controlling possession. They won that battle 63-37 when all was said and done. They outshot Louisville City 12-6, 4 on target to 3. Took a while for the goals to come. Andy Myers in the 76, and then Max Schneider 90+4 to seal the deal. Nigro feeds it wide. Perez. Always a threat cutting in on that left foot. Louis Perez forced back by Davila. Max Schneider. Deflected service from Ostrom. Akale tries to do something with it, cleared it, deflected back centrally. Louisville City holds strong defensively, and Nigro will win it back. Perez. Schneider. Max Schneider eyeing one up, and he drives it a little bit too much, but this is the threat you get from the Rowdies. So much skill in the midfield between Cruz and Schneider, and then Micheletto is always a threat to hit the ball. You have to close that space.
But you also notice the runs that pull out this back line and allow Max Schneider this time and space. No pressure, why not? Take 2 touches, get it out of your body, and really test Farouk. Obviously, when he does approach this ball, his shoulders go back and gets underneath it. But really aggressive Schneider, and he's been a player that is taking his game to the next level underneath Dominic Casciato and the Rowdies organization.
He started taking his game up a notch under Dom Casciato with a different organization. One of the players that Dominic Casciato brought with him from Union Omaha and the success he enjoyed there, now to Tampa Bay. Schneider's had success everywhere. Former Bayer Leverkusen youth player. Came to the United States for his college days at Marshall, won a national championship. That time in MLS, and now has made a home under the USL umbrella. Santos clears upfield. Lambert rising through. Spent a lot of time with Simon Bird talking about Kevin Lambert and what he brings. He's missed a lot of time this season due to injury. This is just his 6th game, his 5th start. That was one of the things he pointed to, Simon Bird. Just an aerial prowess and aggression was the word that was used. A little bit too much in that moment committing the foul, but you see it on display. The interim head coach for Louisville City, Danny Cruz, the head coach over the last half-decade, departed a couple of weeks into the season to take an assistant coaching job in MLS with Minnesota. Took some time for Bird to really put his stamp on things and to get this team gelling together in the right direction. Dominic Casciato in our conversation this week actually pointed it out and credited Simon Bird with steadying the ship in the way that he did. Louisville City started this season with 4 wins from 4 matches, and the coaching change happened, and things sort of went south from there. They had a very fruitless stretch of the schedule from April through May, through that loss to Tampa Bay at the end of May, but they've been back on the come-up ever since then. Considering Lou City's standards over the last few years, you can look at it glass half empty and say, well, they're not as far along as they typically are, or you can look at it glass half full for a team that's dealt with everything they've dealt with this season, they come into the weekend in a three-way tie on 27 points for second place.
And that's exactly how Simon Bird views it, saying we are in a really good place, especially with our performances. Good ball here from Davila.
Foot race, Jamali Wade doesn't get there. Donovan in behind. The keeper helped out by his center back, and Giannis Learman.
There's no pressure on the ball. You need to drop if you are this Rowdy back line, because Taylor Davila is just too good of a player. The weight on this is flawless, and really good touch from Donovan just to elude Wade. Good decision by the goalkeeper as well, not to make any contact. Learman there to clean up the mess.
It's a high-level play from Wade. After the mess he made initially, if he makes any contact there, you're asking for a potential red card and a free kick. Instead, his teammates had it covered. Now Akale, great ball back post, a little bit off on the timing with the run from Jake Morris.
We just talked about Akale and the type of profile that he is, but notice he's a left footer playing the right-hand side. So what is he always going to want to do? Get the ball on his left foot into the interior, and that opens up the whole game. We saw it in the opening clip of Jake Morris getting on the end of service from that weak side position. Good vision from Akale there.
Conversation between Learman and Donovan, mediated by Elton Garcia. Chris Donovan has 4 goals and 4 assists this season. It's been quiet, the production from the Louisville City striker. Getting more production out of that striker position is something, though, that Simon Bird and this staff are hoping for down the stretch. Gone are the days of the likes of Philip Goodrum or Wilson Harris banging in 15, 20 goals for this team. But there's still something to be said about what Donovan can do to help those around him. Jensen Wilson, the winger, leads away with 6 goals. Second time, though, now that Lambert has drawn the ire of the referee.
Talked about the aggressiveness of Lambert. That is the center of your back three. Really aggressive, putting pressure on Marco Micheletto, exactly what Simon Bird wants, to take Marco Micheletto out of the game, so allowing Kevin Lambert to stay like for like with him all over the field.
That's 2, though. The center of your 3 center backs, you don't want him picking up an early yellow card. I don't know that he'll be allowed a 3rd foul without being shown a card. Akale. On the turn, Evan Davila. Younger brother in that midfield with Taylor. Taylor leads the way, 5 assists. He's one of the top players in this league now for quite some time. Taylor Davila, Evan starting to make a name for himself. This is his 2nd year as a regular for Lou City. McFadden assisted Kevin Lambert's 1st goal in that midweek 2-1 win over Birmingham Legion. He scored both goals that night. Not a goal scorer, Lambert, but twice in the air off corners, he found the net. It was his 1st career brace, and it was on the night of his 200th regular season appearance in USL Championship. So milestones all around.
Well, I said earlier, it was an interesting decision. The first corner kick of the game for Louisville City, they elect to go short, especially how confident Kevin Lambert has to be in front of goal. Just put it up there, let the big man go out and get it.
The first one he scored was more of a broken down secondary ball in from McFadden. The second one he scored, just brilliant movement from the center back. Faked left, power step to the right, and as he's coming to his right, heads it back across to the left of the far post. Just perfectly done. Again, for somebody who's not a noted goal scorer, 29 caps though for Jamaica. That has included World Cup qualifying for that nation. Just keeping the ship steady. That was the name of the game for Simon Bird while they were waiting to get the likes of Lambert and others back from injury. This team is fully healthy now, just about. Not with every piece. They are missing Brendan Days. He's away on international duty with the US U20s right now in the CONCACAF Under-20 Championship. For the most part, this is the group, and it's only getting stronger as this season goes on. Jake Morris will go out to take this corner. Somebody else who missed some time in the early season. Aidan McFadden missed a long stretch of time. He was running down the list, Simon Bird, of guys who have missed time for Lou City. And again, all things considered, the coaching change, the players missing due to injury, to be where they are in the standings, he probably would have taken that if he was told that a couple of months ago. They go short again from the corner, despite what you think. Let's see how it works out. Davila whips this one in. Akale tries to keep it alive. Maybe next time should listen to the old Ricky Lopez Espen and just go direct and see what Lambert can do.
What they're trying to do, they're trying to go short and try to bait Tampa to step off of their line and hopefully have someone sleeping at that back post to keep this whole front line of Louisville City onside. But Dominic Caixara and the Rowdies have done a really good job in terms of their box defending at stepping together as a unit.
Santos looking to break lines, but nobody home in a white jersey.
And you see what this back line of Tampa is trying to do. They're trying to bypass that front and middle line of Louisville City and trying to pop it right straight into Cicerone or MD Myers.
Kenton Wilson did hold his run, was onside. Or not, late offside flag did come up. No matter, only Waite ends up with the ball in hand. Negro. Schneider through for Myers. Marco Michelero. Wide for Russell Cicerone, always lurking on this left side, Cicerone. Laid off for Schneider. Back to Cicerone. Louis Perez, nice move, gets the service in. Too tall for Cicerone. The now 31-year-old has a long track record of scoring in this league as 4 this season for the Rowdies.
Does a really good job, Russell Cicerone, at creating space. Wants to stay wide so he can drive at this back line in 1v1 duels. Him and Perez on either side for Dominic Caixara, really aggressive within their intent at putting pressure on the opposition.
Akale had the switch on if he wanted it. Takes his time and space instead. Still Makwele Akale now feeds it wide. So well done by Akale. Morris goes for goal, saved by Waite. The rebound's put home. Jansen Wilson giving Lou City the lead.
It's just wonderful from Akale. Notice a run from Jansen Wilson. Initially, he comes centrally, and now Nigro needs to follow him. That allows Jake Morris to push on from his left back position and just to power on this strike. Waite needs to do better here. You need to parry this away from traffic, never back into the danger zone. But give credit to Jansen Wilson. His run initially opens up the space, and he is there at the doorstep to head it home. And Louisville City silencing the 1,000-tiered Al Lang, 1-0 visiting side.
Well, he didn't silence them. The Boo Birds immediately came down, just reminding everybody of the rivalry as he pointed to his ear. This Lou City team didn't forget what happened to them at the end of May, that 2-0 loss at home. They wanted to get their revenge. It was on their mind this week, no doubt about it. Jansen Wilson with his 7th goal of the season. You talked about it about 10 minutes or so ago. Makwele Akale, what he brings, the creativity, and how he helps unlock things for Lou City. He's not going to get anything in the stat sheet for that goal. He created every bit about that goal.
It's the decision-making to come centrally, to understand, to open up the game, and then the recognition of Jansen Wilson to stay central. Jake Morris, that's his signal to push high and wide. It's such a well-worked goal from Louisville City from front to back to take the lead here.
How will Tampa Bay respond? A large part of the conversation we had with Dominic Caixara was about responding to adversity, but this is a difficult predicament, as you see there. 6-0-0 Lou City when scoring first this season. They are front runners to the highest order. The Rowdies don't have much experience coming from behind this year. They have only twice conceded first, and those 2 games happen to be both of the Rowdies' losses. It's so odd, too, that it's happened at home for Tampa Bay this season. For as good as they've been, for the way they're pacing the league in the Players' Shield race as the regular season champions, they have 2 losses on the season, both at home. They're 6-0-3 on the road, 4-2-2 at home, and looking for more. Fed ahead, it's Jansen Wilson again. The offside flag comes up, but the threat building from Lou City.
There's a real good sense of rotation within the front 3 that we're seeing from Louisville City, whether it is Akala coming, essentially this time MD Myers sitting deep, and that is tight. Good look from MD Myers into Jansen Wilson. Again, just a movement from the weak side, starting on the blind side of Nigro between him and Learman, struggling to find and track Jansen Wilson right now.
Akale pressuring. Oh, Akale wins it. Poor giveaway at the back from Tampa Bay. Shot for a handball there from Akale, but not answered by Elton Garcia. Still Makwele Akale. McFadden. Taylor Davila. Sean Tosh. He's really the only remaining player that has any ties to the true history of this rivalry, Tosh. Evan Davila end line, fed across in front, just like that, it's 2! It's Chris Donovan this time, and Lou City off to one of the best starts they've had all season long.
It's just so good from Louisville City. As this ball comes wide to Akale, notice the center of your screen. Evan Davila recognizes the space to head up, the connection between him and Akale. No one marks him. Takes about 3 seconds for Dos Santos to come across, and at that time it is far too late. This is all about now Chris Donovan getting goal side of his individual marker. Good ball across, and that is a striker's finish from Chris Donovan. Exactly where you want him in terms of the positioning and the timing to push it by Jamali Wade. 2-0 Louisville City.
The Rowdies seem stunned. This is not a position they've been in hardly at all this season. Both their losses have come at home. Both their losses have come when conceding first. And now they're trailing by a pair, doubling down in quick succession. Only 4 minutes between the goals, and bad to worse. Now you've got Giannis Learman down injured for Tampa Bay. There's a silver lining at the moment with Learman down, and of course you hope everything's okay with him. A player who's already missed time this year due to injury. It's an opportunity for Dominic Casciano to bring everybody over and almost reset this as sort of a timeout here.
It's just been 2 really uncharacteristic-like mistakes from this Tampa Bay Rowdies side. Number 1, obviously, yes, you cannot afford to have 2 players just track the run of Jansen Wilson initially, but Jamali Wade, that is a textbook save for a goalkeeper to push it away. Yes, it struck really hard, but if you can punch it, there's no rebound. And this one, just a recognition, no one tracks Evan Davila, and then as Dos Santos comes across, that opens up the space for Chris Donovan to beat Learman to the spot. If you communicate that run, you track him a lot quicker, and that does not, then you don't need one of your center backs to provide the coverage there and open up this back line.
That gives Donovan his 5th of the season. Wilson's goal was his 7th. A Lou City side that doesn't have that one true front runner like they've had in years past. Philip Goodrum, Wilson Harris, Cameron Lancaster. It's been more by committee. Now 30 goals as a team this season. They came into the night tied for 2nd. They're past the Tampa Bay Rowdies now, who also had 28. And you see the body language of frustration. Cicerone and Myers chatting before this kickoff. And it does look like the night is done for Giannis Learman. He was ushered off to the sideline, and the Rowdies are preparing a sub on that far side. It'll be Lewis Hilton into the match. Glad to have you with us this evening on ESPN2. Alongside Ricky Lopez-Espin, I'm Joe Malfa. What you've missed so far is something that has stunned this Al Lang Stadium crowd into silence. Louisville City on the road, 2 goals 4 minutes apart in the 21st minute and the 25th minute to take this 2-0 lead. This was the reverse scoreline when these teams met at the end of May in Louisville. The boys in purple had revenge on the mind, and they've attained it so far quickly. See if they can hold it the rest of the way.
Been so efficient, this Louisville City side, once they've gotten into that final third, and it's the runs that have been a nightmare to track for the Tampa Bay Rowdies. First is Jansen Wilson's run that opens up the space for Jake Morris. Now it's Evan Davila from a deeper line position, which passes the ball into Chris Donovan. It's been so clinical for Simon Bird and this Louisville City side throughout the 30 minutes of this match.
If I could be the czar of soccer for a day, and this is how all great conversations typically start, I would like to give an official score the discretion, because Mukwele Akale deserves something. He created both of those goals. He does not get an assist for either, but neither of those goals happened without his individual efforts both times.
The patience, the decision makings for Akale, been the best player in the field for Louisville City.
Akale again delivering. Morris stinging one. Oh my goodness! Jake Morris with one of the best goals of the season to make it 3.
Incredible from Jake Morris here. Again, Wilson essentially opens up the space, but to take this first time, the audacity, the technique, notice the timing to set his feet, and he keeps his shoulders over the ball, which allows him to strike directly through this thing. Tattoos it, no chance for a weight to that top corner. 10 out of 10, Jake Morris, take a bow.
His second goal of the season. When the goal of the week vote goes around, this should be an easy one. When the goal of the month vote goes around, I don't know, it's a long month still ahead of us, 31 days, we're only on the first day of August, but that's one that will also be in contention for goal of the season in the USL Championship. Wow.
Louisville City goal scored in the 29th minute by number 3, Jake Morris.
Well, the easy and obvious question now, Ricky, what's next for Tampa Bay staring at a 3-0 deficit inside of 30 minutes?
You're not going to make a comeback within the next pass or the next 5 minutes here for Dominic Cachado, so you have to keep the game simple and do the little things well. Get back into the rhythm, number 1. Keep the ball moving, number 2. And understanding that Louisville is going to continue to press. So if you can bait them out, you need to play quick into central locations. Marco Micheletto needs to come a little bit more influential. MD Myers has been really quiet as well. Only 6 touches for MD Myers. You need to get him on the ball a bit more if you want to put more pressure on Hugo Farou.
Blue City, though, seemingly searching for more, keeping the pressure up. Akale nods it down. McFadden back to Akale. I didn't know necessarily that this was a conversation I would bring up in the first half. There was no way of knowing this is how this first half would have gone. But for a team in Louisville City that's won each of the last 2 Players' Shields as the regular season champions, a lot of people, I think, have framed the conversation as, you know, can they just get back to a home playoff game? They were tumbling down the standings a little bit, regathering themselves after a rough April and May. Ricky, if they win this game, this is a true 6-point swing. They came into the night 8 points behind the Rowdies. Now you're 5 points behind with over a dozen games to go. A Rowdies team that has come back down to earth a bit after a terrific start, and a Louisville City team that is on the ascent over the last month. Is this a conversation that needs to be had that Lou City are hitting stride and can reemerge in that Players' Shield race looking for a 3rd consecutive?
100%. Do not see why not. You just look not only that they're winning games, but the way that they are as well. I mean, 33 minutes here at Al Lang, where Tampa has been 4 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws. This place is a fortress to come in and not only score 3, but take everything out of the game. We've seen nothing in the attacking third for Tampa right now.
Can they salvage something before halftime? Not here. Mind you, it's a terrific stretch for Louisville City to try and prove just that point, that they can go ahead and make this run. They've got this game, of course, here tonight. Next week, they're home against San Antonio, who are second in the Western Conference. Donovan tries tracking this one, and Waite has it. And the week after that, Saturday, August 15th, Louisville City at Orange County. So 3 games in a row against the Rowdies, San Antonio, and Orange County, the 3 leading teams in the Players' Shield race. So if there was ever a time for Lou City to stake that claim. Oh, and by the way, they have another game here at Al Lang in between then in the Brinks Tires USL Cup quarterfinal. So it is a murderer's row of 4 straight games for Lou City, and they're passing this first test with flying colors.
Also have to know with the injury of Learman, he comes off that push of Schneider at that center back position, and now Lewis Hilton will play centrally next to Cruz and Micheletto in that central role for Dominic Casciato and the Rowdies.
Out for a corner. Set piece is now so important for a Rowdies team that's searching for any sort of answer. Perez drops one in. Schneider got a flick to it. The point that Dominic Casciato kept coming back to: adversity, adversity, adversity. This Rowdies team he thought would only get to where they ultimately want to be, which is winning a trophy this season, if they would continue to face and learn from adversity. This is something they haven't faced yet this season. Kevin Lambert anchoring this Lou City back line once again. His reinsertion in the lineup back from injury seemingly helps spark a turnaround, whether it's chicken or the egg. Their turnaround sort of coincides with him returning. This has been the rivalry in the USL Championship the last decade. Of their previous 19 meetings, Lou City leads it 9-8 with 2 draws. 17 of the 19 matches decided by 1 goal. The aggregate score coming in to take it even to a further granular level, 27-26 in favor of Tampa Bay. Everything has been neck and neck. This is oddly lopsided for the time being. Still time enough for the Rowdies. This is something that in the decade now long rivalry that we've seen between these 2 clubs has never popped up. Dangerous ball across. Oh, could it be 4? Wilson not going to get there.
Just really sloppy right now from Tampa Bay, especially when trying to play out of the back. Again, really uncharacteristic. So you're looking for leaders within this lineup from Dominic Casciato to slow this game down and take the sting out of what we're seeing from Louisville City.
This feels like it could be a turning point moment for both these teams. When we get to October and we look back on it, how will the Rowdies respond if this one continues the way it's going? And how much rocket fuel can this add to Lou City on their come up if they keep it going? Still got 10 minutes plus stoppage in this first half and a whole second half to play. But these are the conversations we now have to frame after what has been a stunning start to this game. All 3 goals officially came in a span of 8 minutes. Jansen Wilson in the 21st, Chris Donovan in the 25th, and then Jake Morris with the stunner in the 29th. Elsewhere, the Charleston Battery are leading their match as well. So Lou City would climb beyond Detroit City, but still be in 3rd behind the Charleston Battery on the tiebreaker. But they'd close the gap to within 5 points of the Tampa Bay Rowdies. You start stringing some wins together in this league, you move a lot of places very quickly with the parity that we see. Almost through again for Donovan. Dos Santos cuts it out.
Sean Tosh and Kevin Lambert has done a really good job at just putting pressure on MD Myers, who have struggled to deal with their physicality. He's given the ball over time and time again. You need your target man to be a lot stronger at retaining possession when playing the ball into him.
To finish that point about stacking wins, Lou City don't have back-to-back wins since March. They won their first 4 games, started 4-0-0, and they haven't had back-to-back regular season wins since then. To do it at home against a Birmingham team that's been pesky, and now on the road against Tampa Bay. It's the rest of the league on notice going into August and beyond. This has been the month historically where the boys are separated from the men in USL Championship and the true contenders emerge. Lou City long been one of those true contenders. In a year that hasn't quite gone to their standard, they're still tied for 3rd in the live standings. Wait, just puts it out to touch.
Again, this whole action starts with MD Myers losing possession yet again. Understanding that as a target number 9, you're going to receive pressure. So you have to get side on and have the ability to keep yourself between the defender and the ball at creating separation. Because right now, Lambert, Dia, and Tosh just poking the ball away every single time it's being played into him.
It is halfway to Gaspy night here at Outlang Stadium, marking the halfway point on the calendar to the Gasparilla Festival at the end of January. And right now, it's just a lot of sad pirate paraphernalia around the stadium. There's a fireworks show after the game to lift the spirits, but this is not what the fans had in mind when they came out to Outlang tonight. Farou's been a spectator, hasn't faced a shot on target yet. But efficiency is something that stands out tonight for Lou City as well. Their last game on Wednesday, the 2-1 win over Birmingham, they took 29 shots in that game. It was the most by any team in the league in any game this season. Tonight they've only taken 4. All 4 have been on target, and 3 of the 4 have been goals. The one that wasn't a goal was the Jake Morris shot that was saved, and Jansen Wilson scored on the rebound.
So resulted in a goal.
Yeah.
Efficiency.
That Jake Morris shot was a precursor of what was to come just a few moments later as well. Free kick coming for the Rowdies. It sounds so simple and so cliche, but if you get one before halftime, everything changes. The old cliche, the old adage of a 2-goal lead being the most dangerous in this sport. If you can get to the break at 3-1, it feels worlds different than going into the break 3-0, and a chance now on this free kick.
Really good angle for Micheletto to whip this ball into a dangerous area. You're looking for right on top of that 6-yard box as Perez stands over it as well as a left footer. To think that he might try to be sneaky at that near post of Farou.
Scouting report on Farou is he's very commanding of the box, not afraid to come out and gather things. Danny Fondes, the backup keeper tonight, is known as more of the shot stopper. Perez goes for goal, and it's purely wasteful in the end.
It's such a difficult technique if you are going to try to sneak that ball into that near post, because you have to bypass the wall, have it come up to go down, but also bend it away from Farou. On top of that, have enough venom and pace to beat a goalkeeper from about 30 yards out.
What has been the most surprising part of this first half for you? Is it Lou City simply scoring the 3, or has it been the way that Tampa Bay has come out flat?
A combination of both.
That's a cop-out.
Well, we knew that Louisville City was going to press. We knew that they were going to try to make things uncomfortable. We did not know that they were going to score 3 goals in the way that they did, but also it's been really uncharacteristic-like for Tampa Bay Rowdies. Coming into this game, Joe, they've only conceded 15 times. And you and I have conversations saying they are the most balanced side in all of USL. As we see Davila just clip the heels here of Cruz goes into the book of Elton Garcia. So yes, it's been surprising that Tampa has been very sloppy in the back, but you also did not think Louisville City is going to be this efficient.
I stand by that it was a cop-out, but you backed it up well. So
of course, come on.
I'll sort of allow it.
Louisville City yellow card issued in the 43rd minute to number 8, Taylor Davila.
In terms of ball control and the way this game has gone, it's been similar to that meeting back at the end of May. 68% of the possession going Tampa Bay's way. A first half at the end of May that was scoreless. Tampa Bay scored in the 76th and then found the insurance goal in second half stoppage time to win it 2-0 on the road against Lou City. We had asked Simon Bird directly coming into this game, how much of your conversation to the group this week is about getting your revenge, getting your lick back for how that game went in May, knowing that there is such a healthy competitive rivalry between these teams. How much of it is just simply, hey, this is the next game on our list in a stretch of games that we have to put together good showings if we want to be where we are? And he sort of took your route. It was a little bit of a cop-out. It was a little bit of both. He wanted to get the guys up for this game, knowing the rivalry, but didn't want them to miss the mark on the game itself and the task at hand. It feels like they've answered whatever call he put them up to.
Done a wonderful job at pressing all the right buttons for this Louisville City side, not only in terms of the mentality, but the pressing angles as well. Every single time Dos Santos gets on the ball, Chris Donovan is putting a lot of pressure. Aiden McFadden pushing high, Macaulay Akale as well. Done a really good job at not only pressing, but pressing together, and that's been the biggest difference at suffocating this Rowdies back line.
Nigro to Jamali Waite. Tell you what, since Lou City took that 3-0 lead, it has felt more like they would find a fourth in this half than it's felt like Tampa Bay would find the first one on the road back. Response has not been what Dominic Casciato was looking for, to be a fly on the wall in his locker room talk at halftime.
Well, the top priority is going to be the movement on that top line, whether it is Micheletto, Cruz, MD Myers, or Cicerone. You need to recognize that your team needs help. So in doing that, you need to drop. You need to supply another option that you can play into, because right now, every single time Dos Santos or Nigro or Ostrom picks up their head, there's only two players that you can play into, Lewis Hilton or Schneider. And so if you're MD Myers, if you can run the channel to supply an outlet to run in behind, or Russell Cerrone just dropping in between lines, but right now, just struggling to find any sort of rhythm.
5 minutes of stoppage time now in this first half. Simon Bird hoping this half never ends. Dominic Casciato and the Rowdies wondering if they can trim this from 5 minutes down to maybe one of stoppage. Ostrom. Ostrom feeds it ahead. Cruz in behind Cicerone now. Cutting in field chance there. McFadden. Last ditch effort. Poked it out for a corner. Cruz did a good job coming out of his midfield position to make that dangerous run.
Yeah, good little interplay between Cicerone, Ostrom, and then Cruz making that run from the interior. Takes a little bit too long, but good recovering in the end from Aiden McFadden to drop down and supply some support for Kevin Lambert.
We've got a good view of it here. Marco Micheletto taking some liberties. That ball is a good half yard outside the corner arc. But if he's not caught, so be it. Well, we see it. Elton Garcia and the assistant referees don't.
This is clever for Marco. Notice how he's staying right on top of it, so you don't see the separation.
Wily veteran move for Marco Micheletto, the 30-year-old from Rome. Has bounced around this league a bit. Third team in 3 years, not for a lack of success. He's had it everywhere he's been, and he's been a favorite of the coaches he's played under and the teammates he's played with. Just a highly sought-after player in this league for a myriad of reasons. Cleverness clearly up there as well. Elton Garcia does ever decide to allow this corner to be taken. Oh, he got caught. The assistant referee on the near side, after all that time, did notice that he moved it back to touch the line. Micheletto finally from the corner to the back post, punched away. Blown dead for a foul in the middle anyway. It's only the second time this season Tampa Bay have allowed 3 or more in a game this season. The other was their 4th of July loss, 4-1 at home against Lexington. So if this goes the way it's going, and it's their 3rd loss of the season, all 3 now will have come at Al Lang, which is so weird. A team 6-0-3 on the road, and they would be just about bang average at home. Would fall to 4-3-2 in home games this year. I am now realizing, by the way, we might have spoiled that for Marco Micheletto, because the camera looks that we show are shown on the video board in the stadium. So there's a pretty decent chance that after we showed the close-up of where the ball was, that one of the officials spotted. They're not necessarily supposed to look at that. There's no VAR here. They're supposed to look at what's in front of them, but human nature, you might have peeked a glance up there and seen that Micheletto had the ball off the arc. Sorry, Marco.
Yeah, I'm not taking any blame of that. You're the one who called it out.
Ostrom. Inside for Lewis Hilton, back to Ostrom. A lot of contact there. Elton Garcia, decision to make. No VAR, he makes no call. Donovan now cutting in the other way. Chance to make it 4 as he goes past Dos Santos. Donovan slows it down. Donovan chipping toward that far post. Nearly a penalty at one end, nearly a goal at the other.
As this ball does come centrally, Lewis Hilton has done a really good job at settling into this game. Marco Micheletto's touches away from traffic. Is there contact? Nothing in that whatsoever. It's a good no call from Elton Garcia, who's looking for the referee to point to 12 yards out.
It's one that could have changed the complexion of this game if the Rowdies cut it to 2 before halftime. Shielded out defensively by Amadou Dia. Throw for Lou City. 5 minutes of stoppage come and gone.
Now you start to see the experience of Louisville City all over the field, taking a little bit longer to throw the ball in, taking a little bit longer to get up.
And there is the whistle to end this first half. Inarguably, Lou City's best half of the season. Inarguably, Tampa Bay's worst half of the season. And it's a 3-0 Louisville lead at the break.
It's been so impressive for Simon Bird. Number one, their pressing has caused all sorts of issues for this Rowdies back line. And when they've gotten the ball high up the field, they have been just so ruthless, so clinical, and so efficient. For Simon Bird, you need to continue with this momentum coming out of the break to try to get your 4th to put this game to bed. For Dominic Casciato, you need a response, and you need one quickly here at this halftime talk.
Are you making changes at halftime if you're Dominic Casciato? Understanding you've already made one sub because of an injury and you don't necessarily want to do too much, are you making a statement and making subs at the break?
I think you need to, especially across that front line. Evan Conway can give you something different. He can give you legs to stretch the field. Pedro Dolabella is a player that wants the ball to feet, that can play in between lines. Those 2 players will be my bet if Dominic Casciato does elect to go to the bench.
They have plenty of firepower in the attack, Tampa Bay. Coming into the night, they were tied for 2nd most goals in the league this season. Lou City, a team that have conceded plenty, 26 goals coming in. What's the tweak you're making stylistically, if any, if you're Tampa Bay to get back in this game?
You need more of a vertical threat. We continue to talk about Louisville City's press, so how do you break that? Number one, you can play through it, you can play around it, or you can play over it. That is why you need a player like Evan Conway that can stretch the field and put some more pressure on Louisville City, because that back line of Lambert, Tosh, and Dia, everything has been in front of them, and they've been really comfortable.
20th meeting all time between these 2 clubs. It's been tight always. 9 Louisville wins, 8 Tampa Bay wins, 2 draws. Only 2 of the previous 19 games have been decided by more than 1 goal. Never has a game been this lopsided as we see it right now with Lou City up 3-0 at the break. Coming into the night, Tampa Bay in first, Louisville City climbing the table now, and they have that 3-0 lead courtesy of Jake Morris's wonder goal before the break. Jake, it's Joe Malfa, Ricky Lopez, that's been in the booth. You've never been shy about taking shots, so I think the answer to this question is yes, but have you ever struck one that purely in a game?
Not from that distance, but it was nice to see it to go in the back of the net, get 3 goals in the first half. That's what we come out here to do. We had a game on Wednesday, no excuses. All the boys are working their butt off, so we're going to do it again for another 45.
Jake, your relationship with Jansen ahead of you seems to be 100%. You understand each other's movement. How fun is it to play with him playing in front of you?
I mean, the guy just scores a bunch of goals. It's nice. You can give him the ball, expect it to at least be on target, and he's been scoring heaps for us, so really enjoy playing with him.
Jake, thanks. Best of luck in half number 2.
Thank you, appreciate it.
A 3-0 lead for Louisville City in what has been the rivalry of the USL Championship over the last decade. We've never seen a half like this or a game like this. On the road, the boys in purple with a dominant showing, up 3-0 at the break. More to come from Al Lang Stadium. You're watching the USL on ESPN. Thanks. Got you.
Where are we going? French tires.
Got it. Got it. So, welcome back on cam. Getting a comment from Ricky just about Prinks Cup. Into full screen. Okay. Okay. I'm going to give you a generic, it's been a fun tournament so far. We have a lot of juicy matchups in the group stage, and then you can take that however you want.
Okay.
And then I'll get to the schedule.
No, let's do a call.
ESPNU, off ESPNU.
So I'll say something. It's another trophy to play for.
Whatever you want to say, I don't give a shit.
I hate these no-nonsense comments.
No one in the crowd's going anywhere. It's a special night here at Al Lang Stadium, Gasparilla night. There's fireworks afterwards, but they certainly did not expect to see what they saw in the first 45 minutes. Louisville City up 3-0. Dominant so far. Alongside Ricky Lopez, Espin, I'm Joe Malfa. We'll get back to this game and to the regular season in just a little bit. We've also got the Prinks Tires Cup going on still. Quarterfinals coming up in a couple of weeks. We've got a lot of juicy matchups there.
It's going to be really interesting, Joe, because number one, it's another trophy that these teams can really fight for. But the managers, I'm going to be really interested to see, do they rotate in favor of USL Cup? Now you see the depth pieces. Do you rotate in favor of the regular season? But one thing that is for certain, like you mentioned, we have some fantastic matchups, and this all tournament is all about goals.
And you picked a winner that we're going to get to. Remember, he picked this before the game started. I don't know if his mind changed at all because of that. One of the games that you will see on Wednesday, August 12th in the quarterfinal is this same matchup. Tampa Bay and Lou City. After the draw came out, everybody circled that one. You've got two USL League One representatives hosting in their quarters in Charlotte and Spokane, and then San Antonio against the wild card team that got through in Miami. So this is where I was going to lead to you, but I kind of already spoiled it. You have Tampa Bay winning it all. Take the first half of this game out of the equation. Why do you have them winning it all?
Number one, their defense. I think for Dominic Cosciaro, he's done a really good job at creating a really solid defensive line for this Tampa Bay Rowdies side. Over the course of 4 games, they've only conceded 1 goal, and that is a recipe for success because that gives you foundation, and it also allows your players higher up the field to express themselves. And this Tampa Bay Rowdies side that we've seen, especially early on in the season, they can hurt you in so many different ways, whether it is individual brilliance, whether it's combination, service in from wide parts, and that is one of the many reasons why I do think that Dominic Cosciaro and the Tampa Bay Rowdies will win the USL Cup.
Well, another reason might be they are going to be livid after the way this game has gone so far and want to get their own revenge on Lou City in a couple of weeks' time. The same way Lou City right now getting their revenge on the Rowdies for what they did to them back at the end of May. It's Lou City 3, Tampa Bay nothing. More to come. It's the USL on ESPN. That first half might have been the highlight of the season for Louisville City, and we'll show you the highlights of how it all went down. A 3-0 lead.
Wonderful work from Macaulay as he starts centrally. Jansen Wilson starts making the run towards that back post, and that allows Jake Morris to be really aggressive from his left back position. Strikes his ball extremely well. Jansen Wilson at the doorstep says thank you very much. Jamali Waite needs to do better with that rebound, but can they get the double? Notice the amount of time that Akale has on this ball. Picks up his head, sees the run from Evan Davila, equally as long for Dos Santos to come across and support and put pressure. That allows Chris Donovan to bypass Learman and get to goal side. 2-0 in the blink of an eye for Louisville City, and this is maybe goal of the year for the USL Championship. Again, this ball falls so invitingly for Jake Morris and just unleashes a rocket into that top corner. So good, so powerful, and the technique on 100 for Jake Morris. 3-0 Louisville City in the driver's seat.
And those timestamps you saw, 21, 25, 29, all happened in 8 minutes, taking this 3-0 lead. Does Tampa Bay have any road back in this game? We'll find out soon. Second half from Al Lang Stadium coming up. Tonight's travel map is brought to you by Best Western.
Akale has been everywhere for Louisville City as he starts on the right-hand side, but he's left-footed, so notice that he wants to come century to search the game. He's good on the ball. If the team had a similar in the second half, that means he's high up the field and success is on the side of Louisville City.
He did not get an assist on either of the 2 goals, but they would not have happened without the efforts of Makwele Akale. It'll be Tampa Bay in the white from left to right, Louisville City in the purple from right to left with a 3-0 lead. Glad to have you with us this evening on ESPN2 alongside Ricky Lopez-Espin. I'm Joe Malfa. We're watching Eastern Conference action in the USL Championship. First place Tampa Bay Rowdies on their way, many thought and maybe still think, to a player's shield as a top team in the regular season, but that gap could get a lot closer with results elsewhere, and this one unfolding before our eyes. Lou City, in a true 6-point swing, would climb to within 5 points of the Rowdies with a dozen games remaining. You have to kill this team off, Lou City. They've won each of the last 2 player shields as the regular season champs for a reason, and they might be getting themselves back into the race with a showing like this. No changes at the break from either side, just the one that was made in the first half by Tampa Bay. The injury to Giannis Learman brought Lewis Hilton into the matchup. Also dropped Max Schneider to the back line and pushed Hilton up into the midfield. Here's Donovan. Donovan scored the second of Lou City's 3 goals. Wilson scored the first. He lays it off. Davila. McFadden dropping one in the header, almost picking up right where they left off. Donovan was about 2 yards out, knows he probably should have finished with a smile on his face.
Such a good ball here from Eddie McFadden. Picks up his head. But Chris Donovan just has so much time and space in between Nigro and Dos Santos here. That is a gift for a player of his quality. Luckily, it's not 4-0 in favor of Lou City. Just misses a golden opportunity.
In a game with this scoreline, depending on how the next 44 minutes unfold, that's one that Simon Bird will come back to in all likelihood. He is really pounded the drum for a lack of consistency at times in both boxes. And that's a moment where if this game were 0-0 or 1-0, you would really lament what happened. And you can't just gloss over it because it's 3-0.
Understanding that there is enough quality on this Rowdies starting 11 side. Good ball here.
Looking for more. Headed clear by Morris.
That much like Louisville City did, they can turn this game on its head in a blink of an eye with the amount of talent that they have higher up the field with MD Meyer, Cicerone, Micheletto, Perez as well. Those are opportunities that you need to kill this game off.
Elton back to Jamali Waite. Perez floats one into Russell Cicerone that he latches onto. Cicerone from a long way out! Oh, Russell Cicerone! Jake Morris, step aside. Anything you can do, I can do better. 3-1.
Just about to mention, you need a vertical threat for Tampa Bay Rowdies. Good recognition from Cicerone to run in between Lambert and Tosh, but to hit this first time. Unbelievable technique here. Half volley running full steam. Kisses off the underside of the crossbar. Wonderful strike from Cicerone to give life to Al Lang and the Tampa Bay Rowdies.
In no world would I have believed you if you said Jake Morris's goal would not even be the best goal of the night.
The difficulty level on that strike, Joe, incredible. You're running full speed. This ball's bouncing on your least preferred left foot. To number 1, try it. Number 2, get the technique spot on. And then to beat Farouk from that distance. Flip up a cap.
That's the perfect moment to try that, though. You say, why, you know, the way you illustrate that, it makes it seem like it's a risk he almost shouldn't have taken. I know you didn't mean it that way, but you're down 3-0. You need to instill life to your team and to the crowd. As the long throw comes in from Morris and the Rowdies deal with it. If that ball ends up into row Z, who cares? You're losing 3-0. But if that happens, now you actually feel like you have some life in this game. It's a gamble worth taking. And it's a gamble that paid off. Micheletto now looking for more. Cicerone turning, feeding it in front. And it's a corner coming for Tampa Bay.
You just see the different types of movements here for the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Understanding that you need someone to run in behind because now you threaten the back line of Louisville City. And as you continue to play vertical, they drop off. You have more time and space to make decisions. And we talked about how balanced this attack is for the Rowdies. Good start to the second 45 for Dominic Asciat on the home side.
Crowd back into it. Rowdies back into it. This place would come unglued if they find another quick one here. Corner whipped in. Comes all the way across for Sebastian Cruz. Dropped in, scorpion flick efforted by Myers. He misses. Ostrom. Micheletto curling, and he scores! Marco Micheletto take a bow! The Rowdies have life!
Just speechless. The quality of these goals has been insane. Great separation, but this is all about the technique from Micheletto. Takes that long touch, which allows him to wrap his right foot around this ball to give it the bend. But the location on this strike is flawless. A nightmare for a goalkeeper because you're shading towards your near post to come back across. Simply no chance. Phenomenal.
If Dominic Casciano can bottle up whatever he said at halftime to the boys and sell it, he would be the richest man in the world, clearly. And they're looking for more. It's Cruz now stepping up. Sebastian Cruz cutting in. Cruz curling, it's off the post! Did these teams switch jerseys in the locker room at halftime?
Whatever Dominic Casciano said at halftime struck a chord with this because it has been a completely different look for the Rowdies. Good touch for Cruz, back across his body. You're Hugo Faru, you need to go and kiss that far post.
You never know what you're going to see in the USL Championship. This is something that we actually have seen already on a nationally televised game this season. It was a couple of months ago now. San Antonio were on the road trailing 3-0 against Sporting Jacks. Then they scored 3 goals in the first 10 minutes of the second half to tie it 3-3. With respect to Sporting Jacks, during their inaugural season, they're finding their way. They're in last place in the league. You would think that you can come back from a 3-0 deficit against a team like that, and San Antonio, one of the best teams in the league. This is shocking after what we saw in the first half from Lou City, who are one of the top teams in their own right.
But it's not the goals, it's the quality of goals, Joe. We talked about Jake Morris' strike from about 35 yards out. Cicerone says, let me do you one better than Marco Micheletto, the bending to that top corner. Strikes that you dream of as a player, that you continue to practice in the training ground 15, 20 minutes after training has ended, trying to put it out into that top corner. Just tremendous strikes all over the board that we've been. It's a luxury to be on this call.
We are unfolding in front of our eyes here one of the top installments, clearly, of this rivalry. And that's something that you can't really say often. 19 previous times, all but 2 of those have been decided by 1 goal. There's been high highs, there's been extra time games, there's been playoff games. What's unfolding right now feels special, and Tampa Bay looking for another. Loose in the box, and there it is! They tie it within 10 minutes! MD Myers!
This time it is Perez dropping deeper, and that allows Ostrom to push high and to stay wide. A presence on that wide channel for the Rowdies. That puts pressure on Tosh as he comes centrally with Cicerone, or he's a little bit late to come out. But MD Myers doing a good job at playing in between Dia and Lambert. Has a little bit of luck on his side, but just the first to react to beat the all back line of Louisville City, and Peru coming off of his line to push it by. 3-3.
This rivalry never fails to deliver. And if you can believe this, I can. The game that I referenced, Sporting Jacks, San Antonio. Sporting Jacks had a 3-0 lead. It was back on May 27th. San Antonio tied it early in that second half. Their goals came in the 48th, 51st, and 54th. Tampa Bay's goals tonight in the 48th, 51st, and 54th. Same minutes, same timestamps as well. That game finished 4-4, so if we're headed that way, we've got a couple more goals in this one still. Cicerone cutting in, Cicerone keeping his balance and cleared.
Right now, Louisville City is stretched far too wide. Too much time and space in between lines. You need to stay compact because that is exactly what gave you the 3-0 lead in that first 45 minutes. If you are Tosh, Lambert, or Dia, you need to draw and call the Davila brothers a little bit deeper because right now both of them are getting caught too high, and that is why we're starting to see the Tampa Bay midfield line drive at that back line and make them vulnerable.
We mentioned it in the first half, but the biggest part of our conversation with Dom Casciato as far as this team's growth this season has been about handling adversity. Come back to that in a moment. Wilson, 2v1, slipping it through. It's Chris Donovan, saved by Waite. Rebound bounces into his arms.
Good job from Chris Donovan being strong. And as this ball comes into Jansen Wilson, you need to pick out a corner. You do not need to go for power from this distance. You go for placement. You strike it directly at Jamali Waite. It's a save that he needs to make, and he does. But if you can open up your hips and either pass it towards that near post or low and hard towards that far post, then you put more pressure on the goalkeeper.
Tampa Bay player down at the moment, and this is a godsend for Louisville City to get everybody over to Simon Bird and try to rally in this moment. Back to that conversation, though. Dominic Casciato talked about the adversity of this group. 21 new players to this roster this season. It's his first full season at the helm. They have faced adversity at times. They have scored late to tie games, to win games. They have not faced the 3-goal deficit in this manner. And what do? They score 3 goals in a 6-minute span in the second half to tie it.
It also tells you about the ability for Dominic Casciato to get at the best out of every single one of these players, right? To go into the locker room, have a conversation, press the right buttons, and understand what they need to have a response. Tells you about the relatability factor that the head coach has, but his fingerprint on the pulse of every single one of these players. Phenomenal stuff and phenomenal messaging from Dominic Casciato.
We have some changes that will be coming out of this as well. The players that are down are Dos Santos and Schneider for Tampa Bay. They collided with each other, teammates bumping into each other. Dos Santos is having a cut tended to off of the sideline. Schneider's going through the on-field concussion test from a seated position. Pedro Dolabella has just pulled on a jersey and will be subbing in. Unclear at this moment, though, for who. In the meantime, Loose City are preparing 3 of their own changes in response to how sideways this game has gone all of a sudden. It'll be Manny Perez, Carlos Mogel, and Tola Shawanmi coming on. Just waiting on confirmation as to who's coming off. Those changes will come now. It'll be Shawanmi for Donovan. It will be McFadden giving way to Manny Perez, and Evan Davila giving way for Carlos Mogel. Curious what this means for Louis City. Mogel has played at center back at times this season. Kevin Lambert is there now. Both can play in the midfield as well. So maybe some movement around the board for Simon Bird as well. Could be a tactical shift. Those 3 subs will be interesting to parse through, no doubt.
Shawanmi will be a like for like with Chris Donovan. He's going to stay high. He's a big body, so expect this Louisville side to play a little bit more direct into him, so second actions become that much more important. Movement in and around the big man that leads the line. To think that Mogel's going to play right next to Taylor Davila at the heart of that central role for Simon Bird. Manny Perez going to give you the versatility and the work rate to work extremely hard on either side of the ball, playing at that right back position.
On the other side, Dos Santos got his cut patched up. He looks like he'll be staying in and just mummified his forehead. Pedro Dolabella and Lawrence White are waiting to come in. No word on for who or if it'll happen right now. It looks like play will resume before those subs for Tampa Bay. Well, what those injuries did, again, it gave Louisville City and Simon Bird a chance to regroup. We're an hour into this one now. Half hour remains. Who knows what we'll see next? 3-3 between Tampa Bay and Louisville City, and we're delighted to have you with us on ESPN2. Alongside Ricky Lopez Espin, I'm Joe Malfa here from Al Lang Stadium in St. Pete. Rowdies looking to pick up where they left off. Hilton from a long way away. Pulled it wide.
But again, it's that area of the field that Louisville is struggling to eliminate. That is when you need to have a conversation with Davila and Mogel. One needs to stay at home and just congest that central location, because right now that is where the Rowdies are killing Louisville City.
Lawrence White and Pedro Dolabella into the match for Tampa Bay. It's Willie Perez and Gennaro Nigro who have given way. So glad we spent the last 5 to 10 minutes of downtime in that first half pontificating on what that result would mean for both these teams, all for it to be a completely moot point 10 minutes into the second half. Akale drops it back. Can't complain though, because as neutrals and the folks watching at home, they've certainly been delighted by the fireworks we've seen in this game. These fans at halftime were probably only being salvaged by the fact that there was a fireworks show after the game, and then they got that to begin the second half. Akale to restore order for Lou City. Davila. Cutting in, it's Morris going for post! That's 2 for Morris tonight! Lou City back on top!
Wonderful strike from Jake Morris. But as he stays wide, it allows him to take this touch centrally. Bypasses Cruz, and now he has the time and space to pick up his head. And as Wyke is in front of Jamali Waite, maybe he sees it a little bit late. But that first touch is class from Jake Morris. And the power that he has the ability to strike this ball with his right foot. Uses Wyke as a shield, tucks it perfectly into that far pocket. Advantage restored for Louisville City.
Have you ever been a part of a game like this that you can recall? I don't even mean as a broadcaster, as a player, as a youth player, never.
We've obviously been spoiled with the quality of goals, but that is a wonderful strike from Jake Morris. That is a really well-taken goal by the left back. Last time out, Louisville City had a brace from Kevin Lambert, the center back. Now it's Jake Morris. Has a brace, right foot, left foot, no problem whatsoever.
In a game like this, Ricky, and again, I guess you said you've never been a part of one, but do you think now the last about half hour when you factor in stoppage time, is it down to the coaches trying to stabilize the game? Or if you're the coaches here, at this point, do you sort of throw in the towel and let the players play and whatever happens, happens?
There is going to be a sense of we have to slow the game down if you are now Dominic Casciato, or excuse me, Simon Bird, that you did take the goal lead again. You cannot have this thing to become a track meet back and forth, keep it open. But for Dominic Casciato, the higher the tempo that you play, the more vertical that you are. He's shown that it causes some issues for Louisville City, so expect a little bit more of that.
Schneider, Wyke, Cruz, been quiet tonight, Sebastian Cruz. navigating here. Marco Micheletto driving one. You're expecting everything to ripple the net, so it's almost surprising that one doesn't.
But it just tells you about the quality that we've seen all over the field. This is the weak foot of Micheletto. Scored a wonder goal with his right foot. Steps into it from about 30 yards out. Hits it well. It was not missed by much. Good strike from Micheletto.
Minutes into this, taking inventory. Tampa Bay have used 4 changes now, one of those in the first half because of injury. Pardon me, 3 changes on that side and 3 changes on the Lou City side. But Tampa Bay only have 1 substitution window remaining because of that sub they made in the first half due to the injury. Four of the 7 goals tonight have come from outside the box. It's felt like one better than the next. If you asked me to rank them, I'd probably go with Cicerone 1, Morris's first goal 2, and then Micheletto and Morris again. Is that a fair ranking? And the night is still young. White. Oh, nice movement this. Cruz in behind. Mogel defending. Cruz chipping back post. Sets up edge of the 6. Lambert heading it. White further along. Lou City gets it clear.
Need to be careful if you are Mogel here to leave your feet. Need to be extremely sure that you're going to make a play on the ball. He's doing a good job at getting to the end line. All he's trying to do is just lift it up and over Lambert. Good recovery in the end from Louisville's back line, but notice how much more compact they are over the course of the last 5 minutes now.
It's 2-0 Tampa Bay when these teams met at the end of May in Louisville. Now it's Lou City up by 1. Micheletto scored from midfield last game, and he was feeling rambunctious to go for it again. Not this time. Dion Akoff getting ready to sub in. We're told it'll be from Micheletto, and that will happen now. Micheletto's goal helped build the crowd even more. It made it 3-2, and a short while later they would tie it.
A really good shift, specifically in this second half for Marco Micheletto. Covered a lot of ground, obviously scored a wonderful goal. Does so much for this Rowdy side. As Akoff comes in now, he's going to play it as a right back position. Expect this Rowdy side to maybe shift into a 3-back with 2 wing backs of Ostrom and Akoff. The 3 center backs will be White, Dos Santos, and Schneider for the remainder of this game. So now you have more of a structure going forward. You have a presence on the wide part of the field, but more importantly, players centrally underneath MD Myers to get him support.
It's interesting, though, that Dominic Casciato makes that decision in that moment with 21 plus stoppage remaining. It's his 4th sub, but he burns his 3rd window. The first was the Giannis Learman injury in the first half. The second was their double switch around the hour mark, and that their 3rd window. So he cannot make any more changes the rest of this game. And that means he will leave the likes of Carson Henderlong and Evan Conway on the bench, 2 of their most important players, perhaps, in terms of firepower off the bench and trying to find a goal that they now need again.
Yeah, Conway, 2 goals, 1 assist. You know, I had a conversation about him going into the second half. Gives you legs.
White bending one. A lot of trust in this group from Dominic Casciato, in a group that has a couple of guys who he hasn't really been pushing minutes-wise as they've worked up to full fitness. Show on me. Rowdies entered the night in first place on 35 points. Akoff, fistful of jersey from Morris still. Akoff on the run, fresh legs coming in. Akoff, back post. Louisville holds strong.
You need to be smart if you are Jake Morris here, especially with the amount of running that you've done over the course of 71 minutes. You cannot get that tight to Akoff. He's going to spin you every single time and beat you for pace.
These teams do it again 11 days from now right here in the Brinks Tires USL Cup quarterfinals. There stands to reason there could be a fourth meeting as well in the postseason once we get there. Please sign me up.
Me too. You and I both? I think we're the good luck charms, Joe.
I don't know about that. We've got 20 matchups of history between these teams that say it's always like this. Dolabella's turn, pulling it wide. But if you want to take credit, I'll allow it.
Just saying with the strikes that we've seen, Pedro Dolabella trying to get involved. Good shot back across, and those are really difficult for a goalkeeper. Number one, because you do have traffic in front of you, but it's always bending away. And it kisses off of the grass here at Ao Lang. Just pulls it a little bit wide, Pedro Dolabella.
Blue City winners of the Players' Shield as the regular season champs each of the last 2 seasons. Tampa Bay leading that race this year. Blue City holds on to this win now, which is far from a sure thing. They've already blown a 3-goal lead. Now it's just a 1-goal lead. But if they hold on, they'll be within 3 points of first place Tampa Bay with 12 games to go. Top 8 teams in each conference make the postseason. Just have to get in. Blue City knows that for all the wrong reasons. They fell to the 8th seed last year in the opening game against Detroit City. White laying it off. Pinged back through. Faroux says play on. It falls for MD. Myers flashed across, saved by Faroux. Good rebound control. Saw there was a soft spot in there with only purple jerseys around and led it to them.
Fans, don't forget to hang out after the final whistle for our post-game fireworks by the bay.
Tosh. To Manny Perez. Who Simon Bird says has to be the X factor down the stretch this season for Lou City. Taking plenty of space here, Perez. Somehow still with it now, delivering. Wide of Shawunmi. Injuries have been difficult for Perez to deal with, but when he's fully fit, he changes the complexion of this team.
Good work for Manny Perez there. Obviously, quality on the ball is what you get, quality of service when he is in that final third. But the work rate to get behind the ball as well and to be really good in his 1v1 duels. He's a nightmare to play against, Manny Perez. And he's going to be a big piece of Louisville City as their eyes set on challenging for another trophy in 2026.
Louisville City preparing an interesting sub. Cameron Duke, we're told, will be checking in for Jake Morris. It'll be Cam Duke's first regular season appearance of the season. Has really had to work himself back. Once a very promising young prospect in the Sporting Kansas City organization in MLS, and then to Charlotte from there. A player whose confidence was shot. He was searching for an opportunity, came to Louisville in 25, never played. Went over to Hartford on loan, hardly played. Came back to Lou City this season, has been healthy, but hasn't found form, hasn't cracked the lineup until recently. He has found that form and confidence again. He played last weekend in their friendly against Trinidad and Tobago, and he was the man of the match that evening. Gave Simon Bird the confidence to go ahead and maybe feature him at some point. So he makes his regular season debut for Lou City here this evening.
But also understanding that Jake Morris has put in an absolute shift at this left back position. Good read from Duke here. So now you have fresh legs against Akoff, who recently just came on as well. So it's a good and managing sub from Simon Bird.
I'm glad you said that, man managing. For a player where his woes have largely been about confidence in Cam Duke, what does that say to you when your manager puts you into the game of the season with 15 minutes to go on that back line to seal the deal? Tells you he has the utmost belief in you.
100%. And as a player, that's all you ask for a manager that believes in you, a manager that trusts in you. You have 15 minutes to replay the flavor. If you are Cam Duke, big opportunity here and big challenge as he does slot in at his left wing back position.
Still have one sub and one window remaining, Lou City. They made 3 changes, but all at once at the hour mark. A win that Lou City needs to keep pace in the race, not only for the Players' Shield and the top spot in the East, but also wanting to finish as high as you can, set up the best playoff matchup that you can, and be at home for as long as you can. Charleston Battery had a big win this evening over Brooklyn, so Lou City with a win would keep pace. Those two came into the night tied on 27. In the live table, they'd be tied on 30 points. And Louisville City would climb past Detroit City into 3rd. Tampa Bay next week visit Orange County in a heavyweight clash. Orange County right now, the leaders of the Western Conference, 31 points from 17 matches, so the tiebreaker over San Antonio. And Tampa Bay right now topping the East, so it'll be first place against first place as things stand. And it'll be Louisville City hosting San Antonio, which is second versus second. Simon Bird alluded to the fact that this is maybe the defining stretch of the season for Louisville City. Not because it'll leave them in any bad position regardless of the results, but it can give them the confidence they need to make a run. Tonight against Tampa Bay, next week at home against San Antonio, number 2 in the West. The following week back here against Tampa Bay in the Brinks Tires USL Cup quarterfinal, and then a road trip against Orange County. The other top teams in the league, they face them in a murderer's row, 4 straight games. If they navigate that with a couple of wins, if they navigate that unbeaten, it's a Louisville City team that'll be off to the races. Task at hand for Tampa Bay is finding another equalizer. They came all the way back from 3-0 down. How deflating it must feel, though, to make that 3-goal comeback and then immediately fall behind again. Good interception from Cameron Duke. It continues his run. Throw for Lou City with 12 minutes to go. Jansen Wilson is the player down for Lou City. They have 1 substitution remaining. Remember, he started the scoring what feels like an eternity ago now in the 21st minute. And his night is going to end. Ray Serrano will take his spot. It'll be Lou City's 5th and final sub. Tampa Bay are out of windows, so barring a concussion sub, the 22 players out there, the 22 games, we're going to finish this game now.
Speaking to Jake Morris, asking about Jansen Wilson, he said, look, the guy just scored goals, knows where to be in around that 18-yard box, just relentless within his running. And what we've seen the biggest growth from Jansen Wilson over the course of the last couple seasons for Louisville City is his decision-making in that final third. Because yes, he's fast, yes, he's technically gifted, but a lot of times, especially early on, when he did get into that final third, he'd make the wrong decision or take a second touch or a second too long to make his play. Now he's been a little bit more efficient. He's been more ruthless. That's why he has 6 goals and 2 assists. 7 now in 2026.
10 to play plus stoppage. A roller coaster of emotion in the second half of the Rowdies. 3 goals in 6 minutes to tie it up at 3 in the 54th minute after entering the break down 3-0. All of that evaporated after that goal in the 58th minute. There was an injury for Nathan Dos Santos. Took about 2-3 minutes away from the play. It stopped their momentum. And then a minute and a half after the resumption of play from that injury, Blue City scores again and retakes the lead.
But the biggest difference in this second half, specifically for Louisville City, is they're sitting a little bit deeper. They're not pressing as high as we saw once to start the game, but also to start this second half. Dominic Cachetta did a good job at coming out of the halftime break, at finding solutions to break through the press. A lot more vertical runs. The ball's moving a lot quicker. So once that Dos Santos injury happened, now notice all 11 players within their defensive half right now. The lines are really tight, not allowing Tampa to really find any real estate to operate in.
Find some though now for White, but Duke is right on him. White, Cruz deflected. If you told me any possible outcome the rest of this evening, I would probably believe it. See what we have in store. Just a housekeeping note. Ponytail and the headband, that is still Nathan Dos Santos. He's wearing number 76 now because he got blood on his number 62 jersey.
Ponytail or man bun?
Both?
Okay.
Somehow both, I think. Because it's bobbing like it's a ponytail, but it is more bun-like to your point.
I'm gonna go man bun.
All right. It's a little bit different than Dion Akoff, what he's got going on.
Damn, Akoff's just catching strays right now, Joe.
Now entering the game.
Akoff.
Number 7, Ray Serrano.
Looking for the space in behind, has it. Lambert
Touch.
comes in, misses it. Akoff cutting in. Akoff, oh, he hit it at the end, but it's still loose in front. Farouk couldn't handle it. Loose still. Dia goes in with a challenge. They don't clear yet. It's a free kick coming for Tampa Bay. A mess made at the back. The initial challenge, the misplay by Farouk, Dia's clumsy challenge, and now a free kick for Tampa Bay.
Give credit to Akoff. He's been really lively since coming onto the field. Good touch across, but as you create separation right here, this needs to be far post. But Farouk needs to hold this. As there is spillage, MD Myers doing a good job at battling Sean Tosh. And then you have Lambert at the end. Farouk needs to hold that and secure that ball. But as this ball pops out, Ostrom and MD Myers need to communicate. It's actually Dia. Lewis Hilton doing a good job at beating Akali to the spot. Gets there before it is a foul. It's a good call by Elton Garcia. And what a wonderful opportunity this is for Lewis Hilton from about 19 yards out to draw this game at 4.
Good news for Lou City, bad news for Tampa Bay. The man you'd want on the ball right now is already subbed out of this game, and Marco Micheletto. He would no doubt be the only player in the vicinity of this and take full charge. Hilton and Cicerone both fully capable. On a night of spectacular goals, feels like this would be fitting, but it's a difficult skill to master. Right at the edge of the box to get it over the wall, but back down again. Did Cicerone try to blast it through the makeshift wall of his teammates there?
You also see a player laying down behind the Louisville City wall, not allowing Cicerone to go underneath. The Louisville City wall is going to jump.
Let's see what he's got. Russell Cicerone, saved by Farouk. He got it through the wall. Hilton, end line, deflected, and a corner given.
It's good goalkeeping from Ugo Farouk because you need to trust your wall. And as Cicerone is trying to go for power, stays his ground, does not get caught cheating, and notice where he parries this away. No rebound whatsoever. Good goalkeeping from Farouk.
Schneider from the corner. Header snap down on the volley, saved by Farouk. Comes out to Cruz. Schneider deflected. Faroux smothers it. Danger averted.
Not the initial contact, it's a secondary wave of attack, but that is really instinctual from Lawrence White. Good reactionary save again for Faroux, back to back. Phenomenal goalkeeping from the Louisville City.
Again, Faroux had lost his starting job to Danny Fondez, but it had still been an open competition. It wasn't something where Simon Bird had named Fondez the goalkeeper for the rest of the year or anything like that. Faroux's had a couple of terrific weeks in training, had a great friendly last week against Trinidad and Tobago, won the job back. Now cutting in Cicerone! Why not? This evening gets better and better. It's 4-4.
Just so much quality from Russell Cicerone. And again, mentioned it earlier, he does a good job at creating space, so now he can drive at the back line of Chantoche. He has him at his disposal. Can go inside, can go outside, but as he drops his shoulder, it's this touch right there. That secondary touch to create separation, what sets him up for success. And this is just pure quality of a strike. There is placement, there is power, and there is bend towards that far post.
It's his second of the night. His first mirrored Jake Morris's first on the volley from that distance. His second mirrors Jake Morris's second, the curler from that distance. Those two have traded barbs tonight. These teams have traded barbs tonight. What started 3-0 Lou City, became 3-3, became 4-3 Lou City, is now 4-4. Back and forth it's gone. A heavyweight clash that has lived up to the billing. We should have a pretty decent chunk of stoppage time as well. So plenty of time still for there to be a 9th goal tonight.
But notice once this ball goes wide to Russell Cicerone, I want you to take a look at Simon Bird. He wants Chantoche to get tight because he knows how dangerous Cicerone is. You need to get tighter. You need to eliminate that space. And if you're Chantoche, you need to force him to the outside, never back across into his preferred right foot. You give a player an inch of that quality, he's going to punish you. Well done, but from Russell Cicerone.
Myers, Cicerone, 90 seconds remaining in the 90 minutes, looking for MD Myers. It's headed clear. Through the traffic! For the first time tonight, Tampa Bay leads!
Such a good goal from MD Myers here. As this ball recycles, uses his body extremely well. Feels the pressure from Dia, and notice where the ball is at every single part of his turn, away from the defender. Phenomenal turn, uses his strength to create separation, and then has the composure to go for placement versus power. Strength, efficiency, and a bit of class from MD Myers to get his brace, but more importantly, give Tampa Bay Rowdies the lead here in the 90th minute.
Unbelievable. Lou City scored 3 goals in 8 minutes in the first half and took a 3-0 lead at the break. Tampa Bay scored 3 goals in 6 minutes and tied at 3-3 after halftime. Lou City, 5 minutes later, retook the lead. Tampa Bay, just moments ago, in the 86th minute, tied it again. And now in the 90th, they have their first lead of the evening. And if that wasn't enough, we get 10 minutes of stoppage time on top of it all.
I don't want it to end, Joe. I'm having too much fun next to you.
I think Dominic Casciato would be okay if it ends now.
Attention fans, the clock has stopped at 90 minutes and official time is being kept on the field. The central referee has added a minimum of 10 minutes of extra time in the second half.
We said it in the first half when it was 3-0 nearing the break. It's a result that would be possibly a launching point for Lou City, and it would be a fork in the road for Tampa Bay. How would you respond to a loss? At the time, 3-0. Now you could flip that question on its head. If you're Tampa Bay, is this something that could launch you to even higher heights with a feeling of invincibility? And for Lou City, is this something that stops all the good momentum you've been building over the last couple of weeks and sends you back the other direction? A fickle game at times. And this one's still not done yet. Show on me. Floated by Akale. Serrano looking for show on me. Contact there, not enough for a penalty. Rowdies get it clear. Only 2 previous times this season had the Rowdies conceded first in a game. They lost both of those. This would be their first come-from-behind win of the season. And it wasn't some measly 1-0. It was 3-0. And then it was 4-3. And now it's 5-4 Tampa Bay. Against your bitter rival. A chance to sweep the regular season series. They'll meet again in 11 days in the Brinks Tires USL Cup quarterfinal. I pray to every soccer god above that they meet in the postseason as well, so we get to see it a 4th time this year. Davila striding through. Going about his business quietly tonight, MD Myers. He hasn't had the ball much. The opportunities few and far between. The 2 times they came to him on deflections in the box, poachers, goal scorers, goals, and he finished twice.
And it's the life of a striker. In the first 45 minutes, I was really harsh on MD Myers, saying he lost every single ball in terms of his possession, was losing the physical battle across this back line of Louisville City. But then what did he do in the second 45 minutes? Stayed high, occupied the center backs, and showed up when it mattered. Understanding his reactionary, the first goal to just poke it by the goalkeeper, and then that is just a striker's goal to a T.
City's turn to respond. For the first time trailing tonight. Still time enough, 6.5 minutes remaining of the 10 that were tacked on. But it's a Lou City team that really hasn't had much to speak of in the attack in this second half. At the time, we also joked with Ostrom down here. We made the remark that, remember Chris Donovan's wide open header that he missed? 45 seconds into the second half, that would have made it 4-0. And we had said, you know, if it's 1-0, maybe you lament that a little bit more. That just goes to show you, in any game, any chance you have to score any goal, you have to finish it. If that goes to 4-0, 45 seconds into the second half, already up 3-0, you're probably taking Tampa Bay spirit. You're probably seeing Dominic Casciato wave the white flag and make some changes, get your top guys off. Instead, 2 minutes later at the other end of the field, now it's 3-1 and there's life. And 3 minutes later, it's 3-2. And 3 minutes later, it's 3-3. And then it spirals.
And there was a second opportunity for Chris Donovan as well that he elected to try to just blast it by. Jamali Waite elected to go for power instead of just picking out a corner. Mentioned it then, and now you look at the difference here from MD Myers, knowing that I am close in proximity. I do not need to break the net. I just simply need to pick out a corner because I have the advantage in terms of the distance. Continue to talk about the fine details, being clinical in both boxes. Yes, it sounds cliche, but a lot of the times it's the difference of picking up 3 points and walking home with 0 points.
Diaz long throw, doesn't get the flick on. Tampa Bay do get the clearance. Served in, nothing there. Starting to see some of the desperation from Lou City. Any chance they get, lumping it in, hoping for the best. Plenty of big targets in there to make it happen between Lambert and Shawunmi and Tosh. The tarps are off. This game has been off the hook. And we've still got 4 minutes remaining.
Gonna join them?
No, I'm good, thanks. You?
No, I'm good.
You thought about it, though.
I thought
for a
about it.
second.
I thought about
it. Our good colleague and former goalkeeper of the Tampa Bay Rowdies, Jeff Attanella, who's also in their booth, regularly joined the tarps off one time. It's a day he still tries not to speak of.
Just did it for the plot, right, Jeff?
Jamali Waite gathers. Shawunmi back heels defended by Ostrom, who quietly in tonight's chaos. Charlie Ostrom has joined Jorge Hernandez for the league lead in assists with 5. He has a pair tonight. Though to be fair, the second assist was a shot that got blocked and MD Myers finished it, and the first was laying the ball off to Marco Micheletto, who pulled off the spectacular, but they all still count the same, and he's still tied for the league lead. A little extra in that from MD Myers. Part of the conversation this week with Dominic Casciato was, where does the heat in this rivalry still come from? 21 new players year over year for this Tampa Bay Rowdies team. Dominic Casciato himself in his first full season. There's a few guys on Lou City still who were there for yesteryear in this rivalry. There's nobody on this Tampa Bay side of consequence that was there for the real heyday of this rivalry. 21 new players, but he said people know the stories. Players in this league aspire to play for Louisville City or for Tampa Bay. They understand the weight the badges carry. They understand the weight this rivalry carries. So even if they've never been a part of it, and almost nobody on the team has been a part of it, they still get it. This game hasn't had the chippiness. It was there at the end of May. This game has just had all the intrigue for the goals. But the rivalry lives on despite a replacement of almost all the parts for Tampa Bay. On the volley, saved by Waite. The way this night is going, why not? Offside flag comes up.
A really good strike from Ogell here. The timing to let this ball drop and strike directly through it with his laces, forcing a nice save from Jamali Waite.
Jamali Waite will be in no hurry to get this back into play. Into the 100th minute. Final minute of the stoppage time allocated. Player down is MD Myers. Elton Garcia stops the play for possible head injury. He checks his watch and stops it. So you figure once play resumes, there's maybe a minute left for Lou City to get upfield and find a leveling goal, which in its own right, there's obviously no time for Lou City to win this game anymore. Would it be disappointing for the Rowdies if they concede a fifth and end up with a tie? Sure. But if you told Dominic Casciato the way this game would go tonight, that he would at the very least earn a point, probably would have snapped your hand off. And if they can hold strong defensively, they're going to have all three. Not a whole lot in that, but it was that flailing arm of Dolabella coming down on MD Myers.
Dolabella seems to catch MD Myers with his right elbow as he is falling. Refereeing for Melton Garcia, who's quietly has had a really good game. Not easy when you have two heavyweights going like for like over the course of now 100 minutes. Hasn't really got out of hand. He's called the fouls consistently. Stop plays immediately for a potential head injury here. He's had a good showing, Melton Garcia.
They will be utilizing a concussion sub here at the end of this one, Tampa Bay. And already exhausted all of their changes. They'll bring on Carson Henderlong for the minute that may remain with Myers coming off. And that allows Louisville City to make another sub of their own. So they'll bring on Quincy Herman for Kevin Lambert. MD Myers leaves with his brace, and what would be the game-winning goal scored officially in the 89th minute. Henderlong takes his spot, Myers takes a seat. Ball put back into play. You figure there's maybe, at most, a minute remaining. It's all eyes on Melton Garcia. The crowd already exhausted. It's blow the whistle chant.
Rowdies fans, it's time for another Publix pump sub.
And Lou City find one more go up the field.
Now entering the game, number 14, Carson.
A second half that has seen Tampa Bay take 16 shots, 8 on target. All they want right now is the final whistle. That whistle is just for a foul and a free kick coming up the field for Lou City. One chance to loft it forward. And it'll be Faroux, comes all the way up to take it, send everybody else down. High line from Tampa Bay. If they hold on defensively in what has been the game of the year, they'll have their best win to date. Faroux rolls it along for Akale. Akale for Davila. Davila swings it in, toast a diving header. Shawunmi had it in front. Flag stayed down, would have counted, no matter. Jamali Waite with it. We're now 3 minutes beyond the 10 added. Waite sends it long. Crowd once again imploring Elton Garcia to blow it. He does! In the game of the season, Tampa Bay comes from behind and beats Lou City 5-4. Instant classic at Outlang.
The personality shown from the Rowdies, from that man and every single one of his players. Down 3-0 at half to come back and score 5. What a wonderful performance and a wonderful game that we've had. Big 3-point stay here at home for the Tampa Bay Rowdies at Outlang.
And tonight's Prince Tires MVP is MD Myers. We could have chosen anybody, but his brace, the game-winning goal, made it 5-4.
And notice all of his work is in around that 6-yard box. First, it's his reaction just to get on the end of it, play in between both center backs and beat Faroux to the spot. And then this one, really well done to use his body and just turn, Dia, feel the pressure, turn, and then find that bottom corner. It's such an instinctual striker's goal from MD Myers to give the Rowdies all 3 points.
Been so quiet all night until his number was called. He scored twice, now has 8 on the season. A 9-goal thriller, split 5-4 in the Rowdies' favor. Fireworks coming up post-match. There were plenty during the confines of the match, and we're back in a moment to wrap things up. It's the USL on ESPN. Hey, Dom, it's Joe and Rick. You got us?
I got you guys, yep.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate you. We'll have one question each and let you go celebrate. Thank you.
How's the heart rate?
Yeah, it's been better.
We're about 30 seconds back from commercial. Stick with us. Thank you. Celebrations on field. Tampa Bay Rowdies come from behind, down 3-0 at one point, and they win it 5-4 in front of this home crowd at Al Lang Stadium. We're joined now on the field by Rowdies head coach Dominic Casciato, coach Joe Malfa, and Ricky Lopez-Espin up in the booth. Look, you've still got a pretty nice head of hair at your age. I don't know how much longer that'll last if you have too many more games like this, but you spoke all week about adversity. You've never faced this level of adversity in a game, and you win it. What does it say about this group?
Yeah, just the heart of this group is unbelievable. They continue to impress me and surprise me week in, week out. We spoke about the willingness to suffer, the willingness to sacrifice. And tonight we went through every emotion you can think of and came out the other side. So I was just really proud of these guys. And when I first came to Tampa, I promised the fans we'd give them a team they could be proud of that would fight to the end. I didn't promise them we'd win every game, but we'd always have a go. And I think this is a great example of that tonight.
Dom, talk to me about the quality of goals that we had here tonight. Have you ever been involved with a game that had just so many bangers? It was just one after another.
Yeah, too many from Louisville for my liking, but the quality of players on display I thought was outstanding. Louisville obviously a top team. This result is tough on them. But I thought it was a really good advert for the league. You know, great attacking football. Maybe some of the defending leaves a little bit to desire tonight. But I think a great advert for the league and some incredible goals. I think if you're a neutral watching this for the first time, you're going to fall in love with a game after a night like that.
Dom, appreciate you. Go celebrate this with the guys. Looking forward to this again in 11 days when you see Lou City at home again.
Thanks, guys.
Take a look back at the highlights and buckle up. We're going to be here for a while. 9 goals, pretty much each better than the last. We take it all the way back to where it started in the 21st minute with Jansen Wilson.
Just trying to remember the amount of goals that we had here, Joe. Jansen Wilson doing a good job at starting century. Jake Morris pushes it on as Jamali Waite needs to do better here as a goalkeeper. You need to push it away from traffic. Jansen Wilson says, thank you for the gift. I'll put it into the back of the net. And then Akale doing a good job at just orchestrating from a deeper lying position. The time and space that he has to let the run from Evan Davila start, and then it's just too long for Nate Dos Santos to apply pressure. Chris Donovan gets goal side of Learman and makes it 2-0 for Louisville City, and then this was just a banger. And it started a ripple effect, to be fair. Good ball over the top from Akale, and Jake Morris says, I'll take that, and just unleashes a rocket into this top corner. The technique, the efficiency, and the placement, top class from Jake Morris. 3-0 Louisville City.
You thought it'd be done and dusted there. Well, you thought wrong.
Russell Cicerone says, I see you, Jake Morris. I'll do you one better. Left foot, running full speed, kisses it off the lower side of the crossbar. Simply no chance for Farouk, and that really gave not only the players momentum, but the thousands here at Al Lang a little bit of life. And again, Marco Micheletto doing a good job at creating separation. A little bit slow from Jake Morris to step in, and the curler to that far post. Farouk just cannot get there quickly enough. That is a nightmare for a goalkeeper because the ball is dipping, it's swirling, and Marco Micheletto comeback is on.
A couple minutes later, the comeback was complete.
Such another really good goal here for the Tampa Bay Rowdies. MD Myers just instinctual, right? Getting in between both center backs, fighting for this 50-50 ball, and then it's all about who's going to react quick enough as Farouk steps off of his line, just pokes it right between the lines. Comeback complete, 3-3.
Then there was an injury at the hour mark, and the momentum ceased for Tampa Bay. And coming out of that injury stoppage, Jake Morris does this, 63rd minute. For all the hard work that Tampa Bay did, erased in a moment's notice with Lou City back on top. But you knew if they came back from 3, they could come back from 1, and that's exactly what they would go on to do.
Good strike from Jake Morris, but Tampa Bay Rowdies, you heard from their manager, Dominic Casciato, the fight, the belief, and Russell Cicerone spearheaded that. The drop of the shoulder to create separation between him and Sean Tosh, and then it's a wonderful strike. He puts a little bit of dip, but also goes for power and just sneaks it in to this far pocket. And you knew that once this ball hit the back of the net, there's only going to be one winner in this game, and it was going to be the Tampa Bay Rowdies, because the momentum was at their back, and they continue to put pressure on this back line for Louisville City. As a striker, the ability to use your body, the ability to feel pressure, and then to have the composure to finish it off, all on display here from MD Myers. This ball comes in. Notice how he spins Amadou Diop. He has one goal, he has the player on one shoulder, the ball on the other, and finds it low and hard into this near post to not only get his brace, but to give the Rowdies all 3 points.
Comeback more than complete. They went from down 3-0 to winning at 5-4. At the time, Ricky, as we take a look at the Prince Stars performance standings, you wondered, could this be the start of Tampa Bay faltering? Could this be the start of Lou City's rise? And now you're looking at the standings with an 8-point cushion for Tampa Bay, almost saying, yeah, they're the Eastern Conference winners already.
And just the way that they won this game is going to do a world of good, not only for the table, but for the momentum and the confidence for Dominic Cacciato, saying no matter what is put in front of us, we can get by it and pick up another 3 points. Tampa Bay Rowdies continues to impress here in 2026.
That'll do it for us on ESPN2 this evening. The next time the USL will be on ESPN2 is Saturday, September 20th at 7 p.m. Eastern, when Sacramento Republic takes on San Antonio FC. They will have a very tough act to follow from what we saw here tonight. 9 goals, a thriller. 5-4, Tampa wins it, and with that, in the 20th all-time meeting between these clubs, the series is now tied 9-9 with 2 draws. We could not have asked for anything better. My broadcast partner Ricky Lopez-Espin and the crew that makes this possible. I'm Joe Malpa saying so long for now from Tampa Bay. Again, it's on ESPN2 on the 20th of September, Sacramento and San Antonio. Good night, everybody. Akale had the switch on if he wanted it. Takes his time and space instead. Still, Makwele Akale now feeds it wide.